All right, let's talk about that one assignment. You know the one. It pops up on almost every syllabus and makes everyone just groan. The annotated bibliography. It sounds so formal, maybe a little intimidating, but I promise you by the end of this, you're going to see it's not a chore. It's actually one of the most powerful tools you can have.
So let's just rip the Band-Aid off. What in the world is this thing we're talking about? It's a totally fair question, because that name, it sounds like something you'd find in a dusty, forgotten corner of the library. But really, it's way, way simpler than it sounds.
Okay, at its heart, this is incredibly straightforward. Let's just break the name in two. Bibliography, that's just a fancy word for a list of your sources. You know, the books, articles, and websites you're using. And annotated, that literally just means to add notes. That's it. It's a list of sources with your notes attached. See? Not so scary. Now, you might be wondering, why do professors even assign this? Is it just busy work? No way. Think of it as your secret weapon. Seriously, it makes you actually engage with your sources before you start writing. It turns you from just a passive reader into a critical thinker. It helps you organize all your ideas and basically gives you a massive head start on your final paper.
So how does one of these entries actually work? Well, every single one, no matter the topic or the class, is built from two basic parts. Once you get these two down, you've pretty much cracked the code.
So on one side, you've got the citation. This is the formal, technical part, right? The author, the title, the publication info, all formatted perfectly in whatever style you're told to use, like MLA or APA. And on the other side, you've got the annotation. Now this is the heart of it all. This is your note, a paragraph written completely in your own words where you get to summarize and really evaluate the source.
Okay, so that annotation, that's where the real work and the real learning happens. It's not just about saying what the article is about. A great annotation goes from describing what the source says to analyzing what it does, and, most importantly, how you can use it. So let's break down exactly how you do that.
A really strong annotation makes three key moves. First, you summarize the source's main point. Easy enough. Second, you analyze it. What are its strengths, its weaknesses? This is where you put on your scholar hat. And third, you reflect. How does this piece of the puzzle fit into your own research project? We're going to start with the foundation, the summary. Because if you can nail this first step, the other two become so much easier. And guess what? There's a fantastic tool to help you do it.
And that tool is called the rhetorical précis. Yeah, it sounds super academic, but don't let the name fool you. It's just a simple 4-sentence formula that's designed to help you write a perfect, tight summary of pretty much anything. This little trick is a total game changer for how you take notes.
Just look at this structure. It's so clean. Sentence 1 answers, what is the author's main argument? Sentence 2 explains, how do they prove it? Sentence 3 gets at, why did they write this in the first place? What's their goal? And sentence 4 figures out, who are they talking to? Who is the intended audience? What, how, why, who? 4 sentences and boom. You've got a rock-solid summary.
Okay, so you've got the summary structure down. That's huge. But to really level up from just summarizing to doing real analysis, your language needs to be sharper. We can't just keep saying the author says this and says that over and over again. It's time to power up your vocabulary.
So instead of the boring old word says, try grabbing a more active verb from a list like this one. Does the author argue a specific point? Do they challenge an old idea? Or maybe they emphasize a key piece of data. Using stronger, more precise verbs like these just makes your analysis so much more sophisticated and your writing way more interesting to read.
Now, hold on. We need to pause here and clear something up, because this is a major point of confusion. An annotated bibliography is not, I repeat, not the same thing as a literature review. They sound kind of similar, I know, but their purpose and how they're built are totally different. Getting this wrong is a super common mistake, so let's make sure that doesn't happen.
So here's the big difference. An annotated bibliography is basically a list, usually alphabetical, where each source gets its own little bubble. You look at each one individually. A literature review, though, that's an essay. It takes a bunch of different sources and weaves them all together into one big story, usually organized by themes or ideas, to show the whole conversation happening in the research. And this visual just makes it crystal clear, right? On the left, you see the list format of the annotated bibliography. Here's source A and its note, then here's source B and its note. It's very separate. But on the right, you see the literature review. It's a flowing paragraph that pulls ideas from sources A, C, and E all together to make a single cohesive point. One is a list, the other is a synthesis.
Okay, whew, we have covered a lot of ground. You know what it is, what goes into it, and what it definitely is not. So to bring it all home, let's just run through a quick final checklist. Think of this as your recipe for success to make sure you absolutely nail this assignment every single time.
First off, have a focused research question. Don't try to solve all the world's problems. Then, for each source, do those 3 things: summarize, analyze, and reflect. Be a stickler for the correct citation style. And probably the most important rule of all, please, please, always double-check your instructor's specific instructions. They might have their own unique requirements.
And there you have it, the annotated bibliography totally demystified. See? It's not just some tedious chore, it's the bedrock of good research. It sets you up perfectly for that final paper and leaves you with a really powerful question to move forward with. Now that you've looked at each source on its own, what's the bigger story they all tell when you bring them together?